Here's a radical idea. What if saving the planet and saving yourself weren't mutually exclusive? In an era where climate anxiety is a legitimate condition and choosing a salad over a burger feels like a miniature act of environmental protest, scientists are increasingly exploring how the food choices that shrink your carbon footprint may also extend your health span. Enter the planetary health diet, the love child of ecological ethics and nutritional science, and its corresponding scorecard, the Planetary Health Diet Index, PHDI. Turns out this isn't just about hugging trees. It might also help you hug your grandkids at 90 with fully functioning knees. The PHDI is a relatively new but powerful tool designed to evaluate how closely individual diets align with the recommendations of the Eat-Lancet Commission's Planetary Health Diet, a framework that emphasizes plant-based foods, modest amounts of animal products, and a dramatic reduction in ultra-processed fare. It's the sustainability equivalent of the Mediterranean diet, but with an even bigger emphasis on legumes and planetary survival. Think of it as a way to eat for your future and your great-grandchildren's. So what does the science say? According to recent longitudinal studies, high adherence to PHDI isn't just good for soil and sea, it's astonishingly good for your arteries, your joints, and your long-term survival odds. A 2023 cohort study tracking over 100,000 individuals across multiple continents found that those with the highest PHDI scores had significantly lower risk of cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, and premature death. These people weren't just eating less meat. They were also consuming more whole grains, fiber-rich legumes, polyphenol-packed fruits, and healthy fats, all known heavyweights in the fight against inflammation, cholesterol buildup, and blood sugar spikes. What's more, diets that score high on the PHDI tend to include very little red and processed meat, two foods linked to higher risks of atherosclerosis, colon cancer, and, ironically, mobility loss due to vascular impairment. Meanwhile, the plant-forward, whole food-rich aspect of the diet means more magnesium, potassium, antioxidants, and unsaturated fats, all nutrients that support vascular elasticity, mitochondrial function, and muscle maintenance. So while your food choices might reduce methane emissions from cows, they're also reducing oxidative stress in your own bloodstream. One less free radical, one more free range of motion. But the benefits don't stop at disease prevention. There's mounting evidence that environmentally sustainable diets also promote functional longevity, the ability to stay physically active, mobile, and independent as you age. In studies of older adults, high PHDI-style diets have been associated with better muscle mass retention, lower levels of systemic inflammation, CRP and IL-6, and reduced risk of frailty syndrome, which can make the difference between walking unassisted at 80 and needing long-term care. And let's not ignore the microbiome. Sustainable diets high in fiber and fermented plant foods, sauerkraut, and miso, cultivate a more diverse gut flora, which has been linked to stronger immune regulation, better glucose control, and reduced inflammaging, the low-grade, chronic inflammation that accelerates everything from cognitive decline to joint deterioration. In fact, one study found that people who adopted a PHDI-aligned diet for just 6 weeks saw measurable improvements in gut microbial diversity and reductions in markers of gut permeability, meaning their guts were literally leaking less into their bloodstream. That's as close as you get to biological feng shui. Now, skeptics will say, sure, that all sounds great, but can a diet really do all that and still be enjoyable? Or affordable? Or culturally flexible? The surprising answer is yes, if you're willing to think a little beyond the traditional Western dinner plate. The PHDI isn't about turning everyone into kale-worshipping monks. It's about rebalancing more lentils, fewer hot dogs, more brown rice, less bacon, more seasonal vegetables, fewer vacuum-sealed mystery meats. And the bonus? Most of these choices also reduce food-related greenhouse gas emissions, water use, and land degradation. You're feeding your body and your biosphere. Of course, it's not perfect. Nutritional adequacy can be a concern if diets become too restrictive or too carb-heavy without adequate protein, B12, iron, or omega-3s. But the PHDI framework allows for flexibility, not fanaticism. Small amounts of sustainably sourced animal products, especially fish, eggs, or fermented dairy, can still fit within the PHDI without negating its health or environmental goals. You're not being asked to go full tofu monk. You're being invited to nudge your plate in a smarter, longer-living direction. So yes, eating to save the planet might also help you stay healthy enough to enjoy it. The data suggests that your dinner choices today ripple outward, not just across ecosystems, but also across decades of your own life. A high PHDI plate might mean less chronic illness, more years of mobility, fewer prescriptions, and a lower chance of spending your twilight years battling the downstream effects of a short-sighted food culture. And if all that fails to convince you, just remember, a lentil stew with olive oil and herbs tastes a lot better than a statin pill, and it won't come with a warning label or a side effect of existential guilt. Eat well, live long, save the world, and don't forget to compost.